Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Broad Belt Speaks.
Hello.
Today we have with us Bianca Jade.
What's up?
Bianca is in the house.
But before we get all into it, we're going to let Broad Belt do his usual spiel.
Yes. As always, we're in Flux Studio, and our internationally known engineer of the last 2 decades, let's just let that be clear, is in the building. And Kurt.
We got the shirt to
We got the shirt up.
Yeah.
And again, we talk about it every time. We're going to get a camera on him. Is your mic on?
Yeah. Can you?
But you don't have it on.
Why
it's
is it covered?
I know. It's purposely covered.
So it's there. And you
that
didn't
on
even
purpose.
tell us.
Yeah. No,
Yes,
we
we want to see it, and we want you to talk and be the asshole that you are. You want it to come out on the show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. As we always just like to mention, his profession and career prior to doing podcasting was on the provocative B films.
Wow. No, we're just kidding, y'all. Though.
Maybe not though.
Maybe not. He's a musician.
No,
he's a great man.
He is a musician.
Great businessman. Yes, he is.
All right.
So we're going to go ahead and jump in. And
Yeah.
we have Bianca Jade, and she is a pop singer, influenced by Aretha Franklin, and all the greats. And if you could just tell us a little bit about you and how you got into music.
Yeah, I sing like pop R&B. I'm very like soulfully influenced by Aretha Franklin. I grew up listening to Aretha, to Alicia Keys, to Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Sade, like all of the powerful female vocalists. I started singing when I was like around 9 years old. Mm-hmm. My mom was cleaning the house, and she was trying to get me out of her hair, and she gave me an Aretha Franklin CD, and she said, "Here, go play this in your room." And I fell in love, and I listened to Respect and Chain of Fools, and just had that on repeat
that was
over
the
and
album
over.
that
Was change. Change. Yeah. So much soul, you know what I mean? And I just, from a young age, connected to soul music, and I just started kind of practicing on my own at home. Like, I didn't sound very good, when I first started. But it's always been a passion of mine is music. And I taught myself how to play piano by ear. I would beg my parents to take me to auditions and, get me to, go to these different things so that I could develop myself as an artist. And I started writing songs when I was maybe 13 or 14, just at the piano. I would vamp chords, play a lot of different chords, and melodies would come to me. And then eventually lyrics came after that. And even though I didn't have a lot of experience, being 13, what kind of life experience do you have when you're 13, right?
Yeah.
But it was a creative and emotional outlet for me.
Oh, that's good. And not to cut you off, but I was just thinking you were saying that because I think about I read articles with Prince.
I love Prince.
Self-taught. He had some proper training, but then pretty much self-taught. Yeah. But he started writing at a young age, and then he got signed at I think 16. And so even though, like you said, your experience when you think about life up to that age, it has nothing to do with people hearing something they can relate to,
right?
And a melody that moves them. So And then I did want to ask you one thing though.
Sure.
Did you do any vocal training, or it was all just as you?
I did, yeah. Okay. Actually, so I did a lot at home, just out of my own passion, but I went to a performing arts high school.
Oh, okay.
Where was it located?
So I'm from Miami originally. So I went to a performing arts high school in Miami. And I had to audition. I sent in a YouTube video of me singing, and they accepted me.
That's what's up.
Into the music program. So that was my my first like technical training, like learning music theory, learning about jazz. You know, before that, I didn't really have like all of the technical aspects of music. I just had what I knew and what I was listening to on the radio and what my parents exposed me to. But I learned a lot about music in school, and I got to experience a lot of things that I don't think I would have if I went to like a regular school. If I went to like a public school, went to different like competitions and got to expose myself in that way and like meet other creatives in school that are like-minded, that love their craft and want to develop themselves. So that was a big experience for me as a kid. And I also had different like private vocal coaches, not very consistently, but actually one of my favorite vocal coaches that I met with was the late great Miss Betty Wright.
Really?
Yes. She taught me. I would go to her house after school every Tuesday, and she had these writing workshops where she would have a bunch of kids come to the house and we would write for an hour. She would give us a subject, and we would have to come up with a song and present it to the class. And she would make me run up and down her stairs singing Billie Jean, which is a great vocal exercise for stamina.
Okay. So
any singers, vocalists out there, you should try that. It's tough. It's tough, but it's a great exercise for performing. But yeah, she was amazing. Just a very sweet, wonderful lady. And she really believed in me and in my music. So I'm really grateful for her too.
I'm all about mentors because they do help you go to the next level, and they give you information that you wouldn't have known if they hadn't crossed your path. So that's
she actually she taught my mom too. My mom sings a little bit too. She never really like pursued it professionally, but she taught my mom like in the 80s, because my mom was auditioning to be in Gloria Estefan's like choir. I forgot what the name of the tour was, but my mom went to Betty so that she could train and practice for the audition and everything. So it's kind of like a family correlation, the music and everything.
And you are a writer as well, because I know you was just saying that she had y'all writing your own music. Tell me a little bit about that, the writing side opposed from just being a singer.
I think I consider myself to be an artist through and through. Like when I was like probably around the same time that I started playing piano, I was super influenced by Alicia Keys. I just was obsessed with the fact that she was able to sing and play at the same time. I thought that was the coolest thing. I was like, I want to learn how to do that. And so I started out just learning cover songs on the piano. And then after I kind of learned a few songs, I felt more comfortable, I think, just playing piano and singing. And so I started writing my own songs. And I kind of had an idea already of like how I wanted to structure songs because I had the practice from playing covers. So I think that's where that came from. And also just like little things that, little experiences, little things that maybe would bother me, or a story that my friend would tell me, like, things that happened in high school, like some boy broke her heart, or, like my parents got divorced when I was in high school. So like a lot of different emotional things that I was going through, like my music was my therapy. So that's kind of where I turned to as a kid.
So music being your therapy, being your passion, but now you're in the business part of it.
Yes.
So I want to hear about that, because it does change you a little when you have to do the business, because it takes away from the creative side of you. So if you could share a little bit about that.
And it wasn't until so like a little background, after I graduated high school, a friend of mine from school reached out to me, and she was like, hey, there's this audition coming to Miami at the Adrian Arts Center. It's for the movie Sparkle. They're having with Jordan Sparks and the late Whitney Houston. they're having this contest with TriStar Pictures, and MySpace is making a comeback. They're coming together to do this contest for the movie. You should audition. So they wanted me to sing a song from the movie. And I sang Something He Can Feel by Aretha Franklin, her rendition of it.
That's your girl.
That's we like this in my head, in my heart. We're right here. She knows, yeah. But yeah. So I sang the song for like a panel of judges in Miami, and they pushed me through to the next round.
Good.
And so I sang on camera, and they had me go. They put the video on MySpace with like a bunch of different artists in different cities. They were doing the audition in several different cities, so they had several videos on the page, and people had to go and vote, and my video got the most votes. So I basically won the contest, and they flew me out to New York, and I got to work with Jordan's production team. And I got to meet Jordan too, and she was amazing, very sweet, very super down to earth, cool. Like the type of person that, you know, you would think celebrities would act a certain way, but she was just very normal, very chill, like having conversations, and hung out in the studio for several hours with us, and kind of like gave me a few tips and tricks, you know?
Yeah.
And I got to sing on 106 in Park too. I sang the song that I did with the production team. So like I kind of learned a little bit, long story short, I learned a little bit about like the behind the scenes of the music industry.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like that moment and after that I started to learn more about the business aspect side. Because before that it was just my creativity and my passion, and I just like to get up on stage and sing. But yeah, it becomes different when you want to be a professional in your field, and to carry yourself as a professional and to be confident and know what you're talking about. So it's been a ride, but you know, you have to kind of go through different experiences and be willing to be teachable, and also like be willing to like take advice from people, but also to trust yourself.
I like that. Like you said, being teachable. And I was thinking about too, as you talk about from starting at 9, started singing, and then getting all the way up to the point to where you did, you performed in front of a panel and moving on, and then ended up performing on 106 in Park.
Yeah.
Throughout all of that path. So, and I'm thinking about your journey. At any point, and for those, you know, watching and listening, was there times where you're like, do I want to sing? Is this really for me?
No, never. That was the furthest thing from my mind. Everything, I was like, just like laser focused. I was dead set on
from people where it's like, are you sure?
I
think about people saying, are you sure you want to do this? So how did you overcome those naysayers who couldn't see what you were feeling internally?
Well, I mean, my parents are Caribbean. I'm a first generation, you know, in my family to go to college, to, you know, like live in America and like, you know, start from the beginning in that sense. And they really wanted me to pursue a different career when I was younger. I made it very clear that I wasn't going to do that. But
what career do you remember? Like what?
I mean, they didn't have anything in particular. Like,
not entertaining.
But they wanted. My mom's Jamaican, my dad's Cuban. They wanted me to like, you know, go for like something that's a little bit more set in stone in their eyes.
Security, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I mean, like even then they still were very supportive of my music because they saw that I had the talent, that I had the passion, that I had the drive, the will for it. But I guess, you know, as a parent, you're always worried and concerned, and they want to make sure that their kid's going to be good. You know, even now when they call me like, are you okay? Are you good? You know, it's always going to be that way. But yeah, I was too set on the music. Like that's all that I wanted.
Well, you being from Miami, right when you told me that, I was like, what brought you here? Like, how are you
North
here
Carolina?
in North Carolina?
It's a question that I get often. I get that all the time,
especially being in Miami, where there's a lot more exposure
to entertainment. Yeah,
sure. I mean, I'm born and raised in Miami. And I did a lot. I, was going to the studios all the time and getting on all these different stages and kind of mixing in the music industry in Miami. And I kind of felt like I got to a point where I was seeing a lot of the same people everywhere. And I didn't really feel like I was, still growing at a certain point. So I made the decision to move to New York. And I lived there for about 2 years and was gigging constantly and just always moving and shaking. And it was amazing. It was a great experience as an artist. But, 2020 happened and things kind of closed down. And I craved, my own space and also like just being able to breathe fresh air and not be stuck in a tiny apartment in Brooklyn. And, so yeah, I decided to move to North Carolina and invest in some real estate. And yeah, that's kind of really what brought me here. But I'm enjoying it. I feel like I feel that I have more opportunity to focus on myself and there's less distractions. But I do travel still a lot for my music. So,
and this is just your home base.
Yeah.
And was it anybody here that you already knew when you came here, or it was fresh start? Got to meet people. Get out there?
Dap is born and raised in North Carolina. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm all about like preserving my peace as much as possible. Like life is not perfect, but in any way that I can, like. I'm at a point now where I'm like, I'm going to make this my home base and this is my sanctuary. This is like my peace and I can go out and travel for everything else that I want to do.
Yeah, I agree. And what I realized that life is not perfect, but in your personal space, that shit is perfect.
Because you control all of that.
Exactly. Yeah. So I like my little personal space now.
Absolutely.
Don't be disturbing my perfect shit. Yeah. So what do you have coming up? Or, well, I know what you have coming up, but tell
everybody else.
Tell the people what you got coming up.
Yeah, so I just shot a music video for a new single a couple weeks ago. The song's called Pressure, and it comes out on August 16th. So I don't know when the podcast comes out, but hopefully it's before that. And yeah, I'm really excited about that. I have a show. I have a show tomorrow here in Greensboro at the Crown Carolina Theater, and I'm also doing a show in Miami in September. September 24th, it's going to be at this place called Gramps in Wynwood. And I'm going to be performing some new music there as well. It's my first headlining show in my hometown. And like my first time performing a lot of my music from my last EP, Jade Volume 1. So a lot of good new things happening.
The song Pressure, that's one that you wrote and everything? Or
actually, Dap co-wrote this song with me. Yeah.
Shout out to Dap.
I tried to get Dap on the couch, y'all. He reneged. Well, he didn't renege. He just denied. But it's okay.
He doesn't want to take away my shine.
I know. I think that's wonderful. Yeah. But I think y'all could have shared a little bit of shine. It would have been.
That's great too. Because that's that support. So that's definitely.
So he helped co-write that song.
Yep, Pressure. Co-wrote Pressure and has co-written with me on a few different songs. Several songs from Jade Volume 1 and my EP Be Light as well. But yeah, this song is a lot of fun.
I love it. Now, do you have a manager or are you booking these gigs yourself?
I'm independent right now.
Wow.
I'm an Aries. I'm a very independent woman. I'm at this point right now where I'm making my own canvas and then painting it instead of just waiting for everything to come to me. And that's just like a step I think that has to be taken in the music industry. Like you have to be willing to you know, if you're not gonna just you're not just gonna be given a seat at the table. You have to be willing to make your own table.
Exactly.
And then they're like, hey, that's cool. Why don't you come over here? You know, or hey, we want to come join you.
Exactly.
And so that's where I'm at.
So with that, if someone was, because of course you're performing everywhere, people are seeing you.
Yeah.
If a manager or management company approached you and wanted to take you on and do that, are you open to that if it's the right type of situation?
If it's the right, if it's the right partnership, the right situation. Management is even though it's business, it's very personal too. Like the person that is your manager has to be, first of all, should be a fan of your music and should be willing to go to bat for you and, you know, be just as hardworking as you are.
As and see what you're saying. Like they shouldn't be trying to pull you off to their own vision. Your vision should be what they're following.
I agree.
So I agree, and I truly like the independency as far as doing it your way. So,
and I don't mind collaborating. I love collaborating with people. But yeah, I've definitely I've learned, I think at this point it's like I don't. You know, I can reach out to people for help and I can ask for help, but I'm not going to just depend on people for things because then you're just going to be waiting, you know, forever.
And something I was thinking about too. So when we talk about performing and everything, how is that for you? Was that a progression to where you're not, you know, standing in front of people, the lights are on you, everyone is staring at you, or you just step right on there and you was just ready to go?
I mean, it's like home base for me now.
Okay.
There's a part of me, I think, from since I was a kid that I loved being on stage. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's being an Aries, being a fire sign. Like I kind of like the spotlight. I like the lights on me. But at the same time, like, I get nervous and I get, you know, butterflies and stuff like that. Like, regardless, every time that I go on stage, even like going on a podcast interview, but I try to keep my composure. But I love performing. That's my favorite part about the music.
And what about notes? Like if you know you listening, no, I'm just thinking you singing and you miss a note, does that?
Because only you probably know that you missed it.
Does that change anything, or are you still in control and you continue on with
you have to act like nothing happened.
Okay.
Dab
is he's like, yeah.
You have to you have to act like oh, nothing happened. Or maybe you do it twice, like, I know I did it wrong, but I'm gonna just, you know, keep going anyway and make it a part of the show.
It might become your signature sound too.
Right.
Somebody might like it. Yeah. So when you perform, do you do cover songs or do you do your own songs?
I do mostly my own music, my original music. But I like incorporating a couple cover songs in there, like you know, songs that I love to sing. I might do a couple cover songs, you know, on my set tomorrow and in Miami. But yeah, like I love to sing my own music too now. I really I feel like I connect more now with my own music too.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So where can we find you on social media and all that good stuff?
I'm pretty much everywhere at Bianca Jade Music. All of like Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff is Bianca Jade Music. YouTube is Bianca Jade Sings because I made my YouTube in like 2010. So
Bianca Jade Sings.
Can't change it.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's still a good name.
I know. I tried to make everything uniform, but that's the one that like I can't change. So whatever. It's just Bianca Jade Sings.
They try to do. They tell you that for branding purposes to make it all uniform.
It just makes it easier, I guess, for people to find you
and remember. And get it all.
But
so we do this thing at the end of our show.
Okay.
And it's I am segment, and basically you say I am, and then you describe what you are in this moment. So I give you a little bit of time to kind of marinate it in your system.
This moment.
Yeah, in this moment. What are you?
But before we do that, I had another question. You jumped right to that part. Okay, but no, because I know you're doing your own management. So with that, you're doing your own branding, your own marketing. You're doing all of that, flyers.
I mean, I can't take all of the credit for myself.
But you're full in controlling those conversations.
Sure.
And,
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I do too. Yeah. That's good. And I just want to say too, for people, how much of that is, that time you have to commit to? Because I know a lot of people, they see it, something that Speaks and I always talk about, they see, and I don't want to say end result because you're still going, but they see where you currently are.
Yeah.
And everyone is looking at that, not realizing all the work that you've put in to get to this point.
I mean, it's years in the making, and I'm still growing. I'm still working. But it's kind of, I consider it like being an entrepreneur, like you're working 24/7 for your business. So you're working around the clock and you have to be available, whenever you can be to work on your stuff. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's the answer for that.
That's good. That's good. I think people need to know that, like, if you truly want it, you got to invest in you first before other people will invest in you. So
yes, and I mean, it's not like how you said with social media. Social media is good and bad because it's like you get to connect with people, but at the same time, you only see like the highlight reels of people's lives.
Right. Yeah.
You only see most of the time, you only see like when they're feeling good, when they look good, when they have something to announce, accomplishments, when they feel skinny or whatever,
That's what you see.
You're not seeing the moments where they're not feeling great, or maybe they're going through a hard time or having depression, or, are
every day is just not a good
on
day.
your period, sorry, but it's like lots of things,
That's true. It's true.
But
and they don't see how many shots it took to get the perfect shot.
Oh yeah,
and
you know what I'm saying?
But not even that. Even when you mentioned earlier, when you say you first started singing, I think you said, you didn't sound that great. To your ear.
Yeah.
And you did the work to do the first your own, vocal structures and training.
My
and
parents
then
made me sing in the basement when I was a kid because it was like they didn't want to hear any more of that. I was singing at the top of my lungs. When I would practice my piano, I had to do it with headphones because it's like you have a lot of sour notes when you're practicing, and especially when you're first starting out. But it's okay. Like you have to be willing to fail, quote unquote,
and go through it again. Is I think too many times people want to be where you are now without the work.
Right. Yeah. You can't just go from 0 to 100, like be 0 to perfect. And like, I'm not perfect right now anyway. Like, so it's like, that's an impossible standard,
Right. Yeah.
But that's good. 'Cause I watched the interview that, cause when you said it earlier about, not sounding great when you first started.
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran was doing an interview and he talked about, he actually played a song that he wrote and sung when he was younger.
Yeah.
Way off key and everything.
Yeah.
And he was like, everyone, you're going to laugh, go ahead and laugh. He was like, I didn't sound like this. He said, I went through training and everything, but I wanted to be a singer and a performer.
Yeah.
And he played it and it was horrible. It was compared to what you hear now.
Yeah. I mean, there's proof of me on the internet. We're not going to look for it right now.
You see my eyes? I said, she better go home and go on YouTube.
Look, I'm let me see.
Me in my younger days, you know what I mean? Like, nervous, like, oh God, just like being nervous on stage and like being in front of my peers and stuff. And like, oh God, like I hope that I can sing this right. And like trying to play piano and being nervous is like your fingers are shaking or your voice is shaking, you crack, and all kinds of things happen. So you just have to be willing to like work through those bumps, like work through the kinks.
And I'm glad we're talking about this because I do want to know what would you tell other artists or singers that's trying to get into the industry? What would you tell them, or what would you had wished somebody had told you?
Ooh,
yeah, I like that part right there.
You did?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Self-discipline and hard work will get you much further than your talent. Learn about the business of the field that you want to be in.
Yes.
Learn it as much as possible so that you feel confident when you're talking to people and all that stuff. And be consistent. Practice your craft. Practice your craft every day. And if you don't give up, you can't fail.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah. That's good. No, that's really good. People just need to hear that. You know, because they're going to see you perform and they're like, oh, she sounds amazing. But like you said, the journey to get to this point.
It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
You go through a lot of stuff.
I think, again, that's always the challenge for people. I always say they want to go from A to Z without going through B, C, D, E, F. There's a process to it. So.
Well, I'm grateful that you came to the show. I think that was last year when we kind of connected on Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah. So
definitely.
I'm happy to finally have you in the studio.
Thank you for having me. This has been nice. I like talking to you guys.
Really good. Yes. Yeah. Next time maybe we'll get the singing. We get Dad to come over and jump in.
Because I would like to know more about what you do as well.
Because I'm sure there's some stories between. There you go.
That would be wonderful.
Dap's been doing some really cool stuff too. So.
Yeah, we would love to hear about it because what Broad Belt Speaks does, we like to highlight the celebrities in our community.
Yes.
You know, we want to give y'all props because it takes work to get where you are. And we want to always motivate our young artists and our young entrepreneurs to keep on going, keep going and share because there's other people that's watching you. Yeah. Right. So leading in with that, I'm going to say I am living.
Okay.
That's so sweet, right? That's short and sweet.
It was all right.
Okay,
it was all right.
I like it.
You probably thought about it early today. So you be prepared.
But yeah, I want to say I am living. And I have reasoning behind that. Because so many people are just surviving out here. And living day by day, trying to make ends meet. And that's not a life. You have to be living and experiencing things that help you evolve into another human being every single day. So that's what I feel now in my life, that I am living.
Yeah, you're not just surviving, you're thriving.
Yeah.
Boom, baby.
Yes. You want to go next? Or?
Oh, I don't mind.
Okay. Because we're going to let her go end it up.
I would say I am peacefully happy.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay.
I am sweating. No, I'm just kidding.
I like it.
No, but I have a better answer.
Raise your arms.
Don't do that. I'm about to go in the bathroom later. No, I'm just kidding. I am grateful. I'm grateful. I feel like I'm constantly in this place where I'm thinking about the next thing and, oh my God, I need to do this, or I'm not doing this yet, or what, constantly the wheel is turning. And I have to remind myself to be grateful for where I am because, even a year ago, there's things that I'm doing or, that I have accomplished that I wanted a year ago, or maybe 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, and just being grateful to be alive and to be healthy. My best friend's mom passed away today from cancer. And
sorry to hear that.
It's just like these things, these moments remind me of like how temporary life is, and you have to just like live the life that you live right now and enjoy it.
Yes.
And enjoy it and love the people that are around you and enjoy the life that you have right now and make the most of it. So yeah, I'm grateful.
I love that. And then find moments that you can be still.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's sometimes you don't have to chase because you've already sowed the seeds. And it's going to come to you. So it's just like, stop chasing after me. I'm coming. You keep chasing, I'm going to run.
I'm impatient. I'm an Aries. I'm so impatient. I'm like,
impatient.
I want it now.
Right. But you don't want to keep chasing, and that energy makes something run.
Right.
You're chasing.
That's very true.
Yes. So you want to kind of be still and say, I already sowed those seeds. I'm waiting on you to come to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You got to talk to it. Wherever you
that.
want to talk to it. But thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
yes. And I didn't get you to do I Am.
That's right.
Kurt.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you see his
I know. Like
He's like, shit, I thought I got out of this.
I know.
Like, I'm going to start bringing you into the I Am. Come on, let's find something.
You have to turn this mic on.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yes.
I am hidden behind the desk.
I love it. Literally. And then he cuts the mic off.
Exactly. Quick.
But thank you all for coming.
Yes,
and thank you all for watching another episode of Brabell Speaks.
And as always, peace.
Peace out.
Peace. Thank you.
Thank you.